Okay. The previous video discussed untrustworthy websites or websites to stay away from because they were unreliable. This video is going to discuss and talk about reliable websites. And I'm going to also go over a database. And I'm going to start with the database. So let's say you're going to use the internet, you're going to use the computer to find resources for your answers. You can use Google, and I'm going to show you how to find trustworthy websites through Google. But first, I want to start with a database. Now, the reason why I want to start with a database is essentially because you need to be able to navigate through a database for both high school and college. If you're ever writing a research paper, you are going to be required to find information from a database and from a scholarly database. So the scholar or academic database that we're going to use is going to be SIRS. So I'm going to go to google.com and I'm going to type in SIRS for SIRS. Now I'm going to click on this option right here, sks.sirs.com. Now it's going to take me in here. You will most likely be typing in a password. The password is New York 0694 and then 11542. Now what happens is once you type in that username and password, again the username is New York 0694H and the password is the Glen Cove zip code 11542. So once you log in, you'll see this screen right here. Now, when you come to this screen, this is where the search bar, you type in your question. So I'm going to type in my question. How much water is being used? Now, here's the great thing about SIRS. Almost every single piece or article that you're going to find is reliable. You do not have to worry about anything being unreliable in ProQuest or SIRS program. Each option is going to be trustworthy. But what you're going to have to figure out is the article relevant to your topic? So this is what I mean. You're going to look at the summary. So it says in 1950, the states of Montana, Wyoming, and North Dakota signed the Yellowstone River Compact, dictating how each state could use water from shared rivers. Montana filed a lawsuit against Wyoming, claiming the state violated the compact by developing more efficient ways to irrigate, resulting in less water to run off and return to river for Montana. So here's what you got to say to yourself. Do I want an article? My question is how much water is being used around, and I want to know how much water is being used in certain areas. Is this evidence that I want to use? Because already this article is only going to talk about Montana, saying that Wyoming's taking water away from it. Is that the article I really want? If not, the reason why you're reading the summary is because you might say to yourself, no, I don't want that to be the evidence or the answers I find for this. So you can skip it. So you can scroll down. Everyone agrees that we are in the midst of a global freshwater crisis. Around the world, rivers, lakes, and aquifers are dwindling faster than Mother Nature can possibly replenish them. Industrial and household chemicals are rapidly polluting what's left. Meanwhile, global population is ticking skyward. Goldman Sachs estimates that global water consumption is doubling every 20 years, and the United Nations expects demand to outstrip supply by more than 30% come 2040. Interesting. It's talking about fresh water running out in the world. Yeah. Maybe I do want to use this. So if I wanted to use this, I would click on the new oil. And here's the article itself. And now I'm going to read the article. And I'm going to read it and I'm going to annotate and find the answers to my questions. So this is essentially how you're going to use SIRS. Okay. You're going to type the question, again, when you log in into the search bar right here. Press search, that article that I clicked on popped up right here. And again, like I just did here, read the summary first to see if you even want to use the article. And again, as I said, almost every single article that you're going to use and find in ProQuest and SIRS is reliable. So the only thing you really have to worry about is, based on the summary, is the article going to be relevant to your inquiry question. Okay, so SIRS is a great way to go. Now, if you want to use Google still and find other resources, that's absolutely fine. So let's say I want to use, again, my first question. How much water is being used around the world? So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it right here. Now, this is from the first video, Wikipedia and Treehugger, right? If you scroll down, there's an article from CNN. Now, CNN, and you have another one from National Geographic, both are established organizations. CNN is a news program. National Geographic is an established newspaper and magazine. So I'm going to type on CNN.com. Now, here's the thing. Already from the title, it says, from toilet to tap, getting a taste for drinkable recycled wastewater. So this article is about recycling water. But I typed into the Google search bar how much water is being used around the world. So already from the title, I can find out, I don't think this is going to be relevant to this question. But before I throw away the article, because it's from a great credible source, I'm going to look at my other questions. And I'm going to get to my fourth question. How can we limit or prevent the overconsumption of water? Hey, what about recycling? So now I look at my fourth question, and before I discard this article, even though the article and the title of the article did not connect to my first inquiry, before discarding it, I realized it connects to my fourth one. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to read it and learn about recycling water and how other areas are recycling water to prevent the overconsumption. And look, I have quantitative data here in the article. Qualitative data here in the article. So already this looks like it's going to be a credible resource. Now let's say, if I go back, now let's say I click on National Geographic. Again, this is another great organization that I can use as a valid and strong, trustworthy resource. So now I have National Geographic, and this one says, if you think the water crisis can't get worse, wait until the aquifers are drained. This is talking about losing water in the world, which is going to discuss how other areas are overusing water, which connects to my first question. So this article does connect to my first question. And maybe if I read it, I'm going to see how it connects to my second one as well. So it's really important to understand that essentially you want to find reliable websites. Now, let's say I want to find my third inquiry question. How to prevent the overuse of water. I have waterpollution.org.uk, so I'm going to click on it. But wait, there's a problem, right? This is Water Pollution Guide. This is not an established organization. And then again, there's no about us. I don't know who created this document. So this is untrustworthy. But if I go back, groundwater.org. Groundwater Overuse Groundwater Foundation. Potential threats to our groundwater overuse and depletion. Again, even though this doesn't connect to the question that I typed in about how to prevent overconsumption, guess what? It still connects to my first question as to overuse. But here's the thing. I need to know, is this website reliable? So I scroll down. I see a contact us. This doesn't say anything to me. I look for an author. I don't see anything. but there's a bunch of different options that I can use and I can find. This website has a lot of information about water. So what's going to happen is I'm going to click on who we are. Same as about us. Now I'm going to click on our team to see who is the actual staff, and we have a president, we have a vice president, we have program communications manager, we have program manager, financial services accountant, database manager. It seems like a well-established organization. It has a board of directors. For Groundwater Foundation Board of Directors, and I'm going to read the mission. The mission is, we educate people, inspire action to ensure sustainable, clean groundwater for future generations. So I can tell that this is an established organization, and I can use this as a reliable website. So the important thing to understand and the important thing to remember is that you have a lot of options to find trustworthy websites. Here's some things to remember. Reliable websites include anything from SERS Discover. If you have well-established publishers and organizations as websites, for example, I showed you CNN, National Geographic, but even if you gain an article from ABC, NBC, Fox, News 12, or accredited news stations, that is fine as well. Other established organizations that contain credible articles would include NASA, newspapers such as New York Times, even newspapers that are outside of New York. You have Boston Globe, you have Washington Post, you have many other areas or cities with established newspaper organizations. Sports organizations such as ESPN, magazine organizations such as Forbes, and many other magazines can also be considered reliable or trustworthy resources. Government documents. Websites usually end in .gov. Government documents are also considered as trustworthy websites because of the idea that their information is created or established through professionals. College or university documents, usually ending in edu, are also examples of trustworthy resources. So let's say I type in again, how to prevent the overuse of water. Look at the first option. Flow meters can quickly indicate water overuse. To reduce water flow, advanced circuits are installed. Tips on water conservation. Now here's the thing about these tips. They're from the University of Minnesota, .edu. Here's an example of a .edu program or article. This is a reliable source as it is published through the university webpage. So you have University of Minnesota research. So this is an example of a college or university documents, which are also reliable. So you have a lot of different avenues that you can gain reliable websites or reliable articles through a database online. So if you want to use the internet as a way to find resources, you have a vast amount of opportunities to do so.